There are over 20,000 products available for download through WeatherNet. Most of these are accessed by clicking on the More Products button on the WeatherNet main screen. This notice affirms us that we are switching to the batch mode and reminds us how to return to the basic mode. Click Yes to continue into the batch mode. The batch mode allows us to create customized batches for downloading weather products. Notice the window is split into 3 frames: the library at the upper left, the batch list at your upper right, and batch contents below. To use this mode, we first need to create a batch. Do this by clicking on the New Batch folder. Enter a name for this new batch. You can enter a description if so desired. The next line, the Transfer folder, is the location on your computer where WeatherNet will save our downloaded weather files. We do not need to change this. We can also modify how WeatherNet handles the files once they are downloaded by changing the settings in the After Download section. For example, notice the selection called Run MetMapper on Image Files. If we do not want our weather files to open using the Ocean's MetMapper software, we need to change this setting to say Run iView. WeatherNet will now launch image type weather files such as WeatherFacts and satellite images in the iView image viewer software that automatically installs with WeatherNet. There are a number of other customizable options here. You can find more information on how to use these in the Help menu in WeatherNet. Just click OK when you are ready. You should now see your newly created batch folder in the batch list. You can repeat this process to create more batch folders as needed. To begin adding content to a batch, you need to select the batch with a single click on the batch folder. We now need to select the files from the library. Click on the plus symbol to the left of any category. Select a region. Select the product of interest, narrowing your search down to the individual file you want. Drag the file you are interested in to the batch folder on the right to add it to the batch. The contents of the batch are displayed in the lower window. You can also drag the file you want into the lower window to add it to your batch. Repeat this process as necessary to add more content to your batch. This lower window will always display the contents of the batch you have selected above. This window also displays the last date that you downloaded that particular file, the type of file it is, the price of that file, and the size of that file based on the last time you downloaded it. Sample batches. WeatherNet contains a sub-library of WeatherNet batches containing some of the most popular products for different locations around the world. These sample batches can be loaded into your batch list by selecting the Batch menu and Install Sample Batches. This brings up the batch installer. Click Next. Select the sample batches of interest. Click Install and Finish. You will now need to restart the WeatherNet program. Once you have restarted it, you should see the new sample batches added to your batch list. You can modify the contents of the batches to your liking. You can always reinstall these default sample batches at any time from the batch installer. Once you have created your batch and added content to it, you are ready to download. To download files in the batch mode, first be sure that you have the correct batch or batches enabled that you want to download. To enable or disable a batch, just right-click on it and select Enable Disable. This will toggle the batch between enabled with a green check mark or disabled with the red X. Next, make sure that the individual files within that batch are also enabled or disabled by verifying that there is a check mark in the check box for that item. Unchecked items will not be downloaded. Now you are ready to download by selecting the Transfer menu and start Transfer, or by clicking on the Transfer icon. This will bring up the File Transfer Control and Status screen. If you are downloading interactive data, such as GRIB files or other, you need to make sure that you click on the map and select a region by clicking and dragging a box over the area that you would like data for. Be sure to check the total download price before you hit the Start button. This can alert you to maybe having too many files selected or not enough. You may need to close this window and go back and double check your batch selections. When you're ready to download, click on the Go button. WeatherNet will now connect to the Internet via your satellite phone or other connection that you have set up. Send the request to the server to be processed, and then download the weather files to your computer. Once the files have downloaded, close the window by clicking on the X and WeatherNet will open your weather files. Returning to basic mode. To return from More Products to Basic Mode, click on the View menu and select Basic Mode.